We are tracking three big winter storms that could bring significant snow and ice accumulations to parts of the United States over the next several days, and a truly huge Arctic air mass that will plunge temperatures to levels that we haven't seen in January since January 2014. So, welcome back here to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. My name is Hunter, and if you want to follow along with all my daily updates on this channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below, turn on your post notifications so you're notified for any future videos and live streams. I do 2 days, so we're going to do a video now and then we're going to do another one this evening. So make sure to subscribe, like the video by giving it a thumbs up, and leave any comments, questions, and concerns below, and certainly share this video on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look at our weather alerts here across the Mid-Atlantic. We have winter weather advisory stretching from Kentucky into parts of the Appalachians of West Virginia, into western Virginia, into western North Carolina there. And then we have winter storm warnings from the Appalachians here all the way up here into Maryland. And then we have winter storm watches in the blues extending into eastern Pennsylvania, northern Jersey, up here into southern New York, into parts of Massachusetts here, into Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, and coastal Maine up here in the Northeast. Let's look at this afternoon. Kind of a mess up here. Rain snow mix across the interior parts of the Northeast. That will kind of move more to the north and east as we go into the evening, and this could bring some wetter snowflakes to northern Maine, northern Vermont, and northern New Hampshire. More rain to coastal Maine as we go through this evening. And then as we go into Sunday morning, we have our second system that will bring snowfall a little bit further south across to Kentucky, here into the Bluegrass State, over here into West Virginia, southeastern Ohio, southwest PA, and into portions of Maryland there. Notice green, rain all the way down here into eastern North Carolina, eastern Virginia, up to Delaware and southern Jersey. That will remain all liquid precipitation on Sunday morning. There we go. We have heavy snow here, 1 to 2 inches per hour likely from Boston back here toward New York City, getting into Maryland here, and all the way down into northern Virginia Sunday afternoon. And then as we go into Sunday night, that will move out from southwest to northeast. Snowfall lingering across most of the state of Maine, including coastal areas, and then all the way down toward Boston here in Massachusetts. New Hampshire and Vermont also seeing some snow through Sunday night. The first system won't be that big of a snowmaker, maybe up to an inch of snow in some areas. Otherwise, we're not seeing that big of a deal. This takes us through Sunday morning. Our second system during the day Sunday, going through a Monday, Martin Luther King Day, could be giving us a good 5 to 10 inches worth of snow here from Maine all the way south and westbound into the Appalachians of West Virginia. So a significant snow event with the second system Sunday and into Martin Luther King Day Monday. And this will be impacting travel, both of these systems, the second of which will be more significant because we have more significant snow, and this will be giving us minor, moderate travel disruptions, especially around the bigger cities like New York, into Trenton, into areas like Philadelphia and Baltimore, and extending down there toward Washington, D.C. and Boston as well. And you can see that even extends up into coastal Maine. So places like Augusta, Portland, Maine, definitely going to be seeing some travel disruptions through your Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Let's look at the cold air. Today, it's starting to ooze south into the United States. Our temperature anomalies are 20, 30 degrees below the norm across the Rockies, southern Alberta, and southern Saskatchewan. And it's going to get even colder each day through the weekend as we go into Sunday. Look at it, reaches the Gulf Coast with our Arctic front, and those temperatures near the Gulf Coast as much as 10, 20 degrees below the norm for tomorrow. And then Monday gets even colder yet. Martin Luther King Day, we're seeing temperature anomalies 40, 50 degrees below normal up here across the northern tier of the U.S. and extending down as far south as the Texas Panhandle. So what does this look like here when converting over to actual air temperatures and wind chills? This afternoon, here's the freezing line extending from Ohio all the way back down into Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle. Areas behind that, temperatures will be into the teens, if not into the single digits above or below zero. The further north you go, you'll be below zero, especially once you get into southern Canada. Teens below zero up there into southern Canadian provinces this afternoon. That's where the wind chills will be the worst. 40 below zero we go across Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario, but still seeing those 20, 30 degrees below zero wind chills across places like Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, northern Wisconsin this afternoon. Sunday afternoon gets a little bit colder here, very similar to today. Wind chills again, 40 degrees below zero across Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario, extending over into western Quebec, and then 20, 30 degrees below zero wind chills across parts of the upper Midwest there Sunday afternoon. And then finally, for Monday afternoon, Martin Luther King Day on the 20th, these are high temperatures. Teens below zero is all we'll be able to muster in places like Bismarck and Fargo up here, 10 below in the Twin Cities. And when you factor in a little bit of a breeze out there, here's our wind chills that will be anywhere from 20 to as much as 40 degrees below zero across parts of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin. So likely seeing wind chill advisories, if not wind chill warning criteria met across these areas. So the local National Weather Service is up in the upper Midwest will be working hard to get you those alerts that you need for those wind chill advisories, wind chill warnings as we go through the extended weekend. Now, as we go into next week, this trough, the tropospheric polar vortex, is going to help bring a storm track well down to the south, an historic storm track at that, as it's going to lay down some cold air across the Gulf Coast and up the East Coast here. These are temperature anomalies along the Gulf Coast and up here through portions of the Eastern Carolinas and the Mid-Atlantic that are 25 degrees below normal as we go through next week, and that's going to set the foundation for that storm track to sink a little bit further to the south. Here's our low pressure developing back toward West Texas next week, and it's going to ride right along or just south of the Gulf Coast there and towards Florida and the Eastern Carolinas, and north of that low pressure track is where we're going to have heavy wintry precipitation, and we already do have winter storm watches from portions just east of Houston into areas like Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, just north of New Orleans, and into southern Mississippi here, and I expect those to expand eastward in towards the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, Alabama, maybe northwest Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas in the coming days. So Monday night, we are seeing some lighter snowfall, maybe a mix of snow, sleet, freezing rain breaking out across south central and east Texas here. This will include the Houston area. And then as we go into Tuesday, a more significant snow event for much of Louisiana and southeast Texas from Houston to Lake Charles over here into Baton Rouge and Alexandria, Louisiana, extending over maybe as far south as New Orleans, and then getting as far north as Jackson, Mississippi on Tuesday. Tuesday night comes around, we got colder air, it's nighttime. This is going to help radiational cooling. And we could definitely see even more dynamic cooling with this system across the Carolinas. So Wilmington, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach down to Charleston, Savannah, Georgia's in play, Macon, Georgia, down here into North Florida, Panama City to Tallahassee, Jacksonville. We could be seeing wintry precipitation, whether it's snow, sleet, or freezing rain. Definitely seeing that significant on Tuesday night. Rainfall further south toward Orlando and Tampa Bay. Then as we go into Wednesday, the 22nd, that system kind of zips off the coast, maybe bringing some snow to Cape Cod, Rhode Island, and eastern Long Island there, but other than that, it kind of misses the I-95 corridor, and that cold air suppresses it further south the middle of next week. These are preliminary numbers between Tuesday the 21st and Wednesday the 22nd, but definitely seeing a 4 to 8 inch snow swath here from Houston over here toward Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, Alexandria, and just north of New Orleans, and that could extend as far east as areas like Gulfport, Mississippi. And then as we go across the east here, this is why I think winter storm watches and warnings may be issued here for heavy swaths of snow into southern Alabama like Montgomery, into the Macon, Georgia area. Panama City could even see up to 6 inches worth of snow. And then a good swath of 6 to 10 inches perhaps up here along the coast, Myrtle Beach into Charleston, Savannah, Georgia, Wilmington, Cape Hatteras. Definitely seeing a lot of areas here that aren't used to seeing this significant amount of snow or really any snow at all, seeing 6 to 10 inches as we go in through next Wednesday. So something to keep an eye on. Now, as far as ice is concerned, we could be seeing a 10th to maybe 2/10 of an inch of ice accumulation here southwest of Houston toward Victoria, maybe Corpus Christi down here into the Austin and San Antonio area, so something to keep an eye on there in Texas. And then a more notable ice storm threat from Jacksonville and Savannah, Georgia areas all the way back here toward Tallahassee and just east of Panama City. That's where we could be seeing as much as a quarter, maybe even locally a half an inch of ice if this did verify here as we go into next week. We'll keep you updated on those amounts. Those are preliminary amounts of snow and ice. We'll keep you updated throughout the weekend and into next week. Beyond this storm system, winter will continue to hang on here across the lower 48. We got cold temperatures here, and you can see it really rules the roost across the lower 48. Besides Florida and southern Georgia, we're going to be below normal through the rest of the month, through Friday, January 31st, and an active pattern. So more winter storms could be on the horizon as we finish off the month of January here across the lower 48 of the United States. And you bet we'll be sure to give you the latest information on that as we do get closer. Subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Another video will be out this evening. Like the video by giving it a thumbs up. I hope you did enjoy it. Also, leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. Obviously, I'll be able to answer those after the video, and also share this video with friends, family, and on social media. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Saturday out there.